I have a couple of questions for you before we begin the final exercise of the day. The first question I have for you is, how was that exercise different from essentially doing exactly the same thing just moments before? Anyone?
As a hypnotist, I'm always concerned with my clients what I'm saying to them and getting their eyes closed. And it was interesting in the other exercise how it was just the opposite. Having my eyes open and saying nothing was more. So how that reflected here was I really wasn't concerned about what I was saying and if there were pauses or spaces, which normally I'm just like, I don't want so many pauses, you know.
So that shows that you're doing hypnosis from the right place. And incidentally, you're about 90% to what we'll end up calling the irresistible induction, but we'll come on to that in a few days. So good job. What else do you guys notice? Do you want to come up? Come up with this one? So I'll go over here first. So what else did you notice?
I think in our group, at least, you helped us change our belief system. And the belief system was that hypnosis is about language and is about leading somebody. And what we all found was, because of the previous exercise, we in fact, many of us had closed our eyes and even put our heads down, and we had instigated the same level of trance and the same influence over the other person.
Right.
And so just sitting there, even as a group, even when we had those pregnant pauses, even as we handed off between the four partners, the trance state didn't really dissipate.
No. In fact, it probably got stronger.
Yes.
And now, where were we again? Do you feel a bit of that?
Oh, fractionating.
Well, kind of. That's what the pauses do. This is what you felt during the pauses. And especially in conversation hypnosis, you will need it.
To create the space.
There is no problem with being paused or silent inside of a conversation, provided it's flowing correctly. There are many conversations you've had which are just thoughtful, I think is the word. So let's make people more thoughtful, shall we? Good job, thank you.
Also, just outside of even the pauses and the fractionation, I think I found within our group that after we had experienced the sensation ourselves of the calm that we just done with the partners, that having that calm being within everyone within the group just made it easier to do everything in general, like the going first thing.
Did anyone else notice this? Right? This is, and I'm very glad you guys are starting to bring this up, because this is the beginnings of the whole H+ principle. Who here is familiar with the idea of H+? Right? I'll detail it very quickly anyway, just in case there's a few newbies, fresh faces. And you may know this is pretty much a significant theme of my work. Seeing as we have a nice circle, we might as well put it in there. H+ is essentially the intense desire for the other person to experience something hypnotic, to induce trance, coupled with the intense desire for that person to have a significant positive event, to experience something positive, right? Now, you're not expecting it from them, like you need it to feel good about yourself. You just really want it for them. And you know the difference because you'll feel different inside. What you just described is that feeling. You don't care. In fact, you described exactly the same thing. You no longer care about their response in terms of, is the eye open, is the eyes closed? Are they doing this or doing that? It's irrelevant. It is all irrelevant. H+ is both a shield and a sword. It's a shield in the sense that it protects you from your own performance anxiety, from trying too hard, from thinking too much. It's a sword in the sense that it allows you to influence the other person more profoundly, because all your sub-communications, all your non-verbal behavior, your tonality and so on, which we'll come on to more tomorrow, is aligned with a simple message. Have this experience now. And that's all there is. Does that make sense to you guys? We will be evolving this concept throughout the 10 days together. This is, if you take nothing else but this is what makes great hypnotists. In fact, the one hypnotist I really got this from was someone that, honestly, was a terrible hypnotist. Language was awful. Spacing, tonality, everything, just terrible. But he got amazing results. He got results he should not be able to get. And I was sitting there going, how the fuck do you do that? He got amazing results. And the difference is that he was just there. He was one of these people who just had this expansive, positive feeling. And he just knew they're going to get results. He just wanted it, and there was no doubt in his mind. He just felt right about it. And he got it, and he got amazing results. This is the key to everything. And going back to the point from over here earlier, your ethics is built into that as well. So it's all one big happy parcel. You're more successful when you are more ethical, because it comes from the same place. Does that make sense to you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can get this hum down. Is this the hum from the speakers or the lights? That's weird. It's my hypnotic hum. All right, go ahead.
I think I'm going to say something that's very much with the H+. I found myself more trusting of me and the others.
Mm-hmm.
In the rest of it didn't matter. What I said didn't matter. It was going to happen, period, and it just
Yes.
was there.
And that's what distinguishes the nervous, shy, I'm not so confident of myself, I'm a beginner at this, please be nice to me hypnotist. And really, the old hands experienced one, they just know it's going to happen. And it's easy to say, oh, just know it's going to happen, but that doesn't help you. But now you have a reference experience. Who here thinks they can find their way back to this? Not necessarily every time, not necessarily instantly, but someday, from time to time, and maybe increasingly if you keep looking for it, right? That's a good proportion. For the rest of you, keep tuned, because there's a way of accelerating that. Sound good? So, oh, one more thing, go ahead. Let me just double check this is on. There you go.
Whoops.
Just take it.
Take it.
There
take
you
it.
go.
So I'm kind of probably saying the same thing that's been said, but differently, in that it's almost like creating a sphere of trust through the H+, that my experience was whatever's going to happen's wanting to happen over there already,
Mhm.
and I'm just there helping support the space for it to occur naturally.
Thank you. That's exactly right. I think Erickson has a great quote for this, which I really love, which is, your job is just to provide the scenery in such a way that they'll naturally respond with whatever phenomena, results, etc. that you would like them to respond with. That's it. Your job is not to force their acting. Your job is just provide the scenery. They'll do the rest, and they'll do it quite spontaneously. Do you like that idea?